Hello, BookTube. You stretchy baby. Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to your Daily Penguin. This is our tour through my Penguin Classic wall, book by book and author by author, and we have hit a vein of Russian literature that has been sustaining us for a week now, and it shows no signs of slowing down. And just recently, we did the Penguin Classic of Anna Karenina. This is a translation by Rosemary Edmonds. I really like it. And the next book in our progression here is also Anna Karenina, only this particular Anna Karenina will be much better known to millions more people. This Penguin Classic was taught in schools, so probably tens of thousands of young people have seen it, touched it over the decades. But this Penguin Classic Anna Karenina has been bought by millions of people. This is the Peviar and Volkonsky translation, and the reason why millions of people bought it is because it was an Oprah book club. Oprah Winfrey picked the Anna Karenina for her book club. People at the time, all those years ago when she picked this book, used to, I was working in a bookstore at the time, people used to come up to me, customers who didn't know me well, and thought, well, okay, if you like reading the classics of ancient Greece and Rome, you must be a book snob. And book snobs especially like to find allies. They like to find other book snobs. And a lot of book snobs automatically assumed that about me until they learned otherwise, usually from me, usually in very short sentences. People would come up to me and say, well, don't you think it's rotten that Oprah Winfrey would recommend this book? I mean, no one who watches her show is going to read it. A whole bunch of snobbery encoded in that. I thought it was fascinating that this book, when Oprah picked it, sparked thousands of fascinated book conversations, book clubs all over the world. Decided, well, Oprah loves it. She loves this new translation. Let's give it a try. And who knows how many readers were brought on board to Tolstoy through that. Customers used to come up to me and say, do you object? You must object that Oprah Winfrey picked Anna Karenina as a book for her book club. We're drastically wrong. They were drastically wrong about me and what I would like. I was overjoyed that she did it. And in a way, I was also overjoyed that she picked this translation as opposed to Rosemary Edmonds' translation, because this is more challenging. Peviar and Volkonsky are a superstar translating team, the world's premier superstar translating team. They have, if any of you have ever read the long New Yorker article about them, they have an unconventional working relationship, to put it mildly. Seems to work with the public, and I always find their translations interesting, even if I don't particularly prefer them to the more conventional ones that I read before them. But we're talking about a different translation here. I mean, this is a Penguin Classic Deluxe Edition. It's a lovely thing. It's got the deckled edges and the French flaps. It doesn't have particularly good cover artwork. I have no idea what the significance of this cover artwork is. I don't like it at all. But also, unlike a lot of Penguin Classic Deluxe Editions, it's just an ordinary usage of the cover real estate. It's just text everywhere. So I kind of wish that could be, that were not true. But I loved the fact that suddenly I was seeing stacks of Anna Karenina in bookstores, because this was suddenly in the popular imagination. I thought that was fantastic. But since we're talking about differences in translation here, I thought we'd do a little exercise in that. We don't do that very often, especially since we're helped in that regard by the fact that Anna Karenina has a very famous opening line. I mentioned that. I animadverted on that just recently. We'll read the opening line and a bit of the opening of the book in this, and then we'll do Rosemary Edmonds. You can see which ones you like, in case you don't have either one of them, in case you don't have them to hand. This is the Peviar and Volkonsky translation. All happy families are alike, semicolon. Each happy family is unhappy in its own way. All was confusion in the Oblonsky's house. The wife had found out that the husband was having an affair with their former French governess, and had announced to the husband that she could not live in the same house with him. This situation had continued for 3 days now, and was painfully felt by the couple themselves, as well as by all the members of the family and household. They felt that there was no sense in their living together, and that people who accidentally met at an inn have more connection with each other than they, the members of the family, and the household of the Oblonskys. The Peviar and Volkonsky, as in this as in all cases, adopt a very preterite, fast-moving style of their translation. I find a couple of problems with it. A couple of places where I've often got the impression it's often a big problem that translators might know their translated language perfectly. They might have gone through undergraduate, graduate seminars teaching in their target language, but not their own language. That's where the weakness is going to be in any translation. It's going to be not how well do you know the other language, but how well do you know your own. And infelicities crop up in Peviar and Volkonsky. I'm not exactly sure why. The one that springs to mind here is their former French governess. Is the governess no longer French? There's a better way to do that. But let's see what Rosemary Edmonds does with that same thing, that same famous beginning. We'll see which one you like. This translation was done a long time ago, 1954. So that's a long time ago. So let's see. All happy families are alike, but an unhappy family is unhappy after its own fashion. Notice right away. No semicolon. No break effectively into two sentences. That is one sentence. Rushes right on. Everything had gone wrong in the Oblonsky household. The wife had found out about her husband's relationship with their former French governess. There it is again. And notice relationship, not affair. And gone wrong, which is moral. It's a moral judgment. And had announced that she could not go on living in the same house with him. This state of affairs had already continued for 3 days and was having a distressing effect on the couple themselves, all the members of the family, and on the domestics. Oh. Are you voting for one or the other? I defy any of you to get your composure back after an interruption as adorable as that. They all felt that there was no sense in their living together under the same roof, and that any group of people who chanced to meet at a wayside inn would have more in common than they, the members of the Oblonsky family and their servants. So that is Rosemary Edmonds' translation, and I think it's fairly easy to see that some of the differences. Even as a short snippet, believe me, when the action heats up later in the book, the differences become more obvious. But they sort of highlight what I'm talking about, which is that Rosemary Edmonds takes a more sedate and more almost stately approach to the nuances, the minutiae of what she's translating. I don't think in this particular case there's any violence done either way. I kind of prefer just Rosemary Edmonds' narrative company as a translator in the room. If the translator's going to be in the room with you, I prefer that the translator be her to being Peviar and Volkonsky, who are sometimes a little too jolting for me, which can help when the Russian epic is itself jolting, but it doesn't always work with me with Tolstoy. So your baby, what is the matter? You are acting up. Do you want to see your book 2 friends again? Huh? Oh. Oh. Why are you acting up? Why? Oh. Because she wants to go outside. It's pouring rain outside. So the wanting to go outside is going to last 5 seconds. We'll get to the back way, to the back door, and the minute she sees, it won't be, I won't get, no, I want to go back inside. I'll get, okay, now that we're here, stop the rain. And I'm not going to do that. So anyway, your Penguin Classic for today is in many ways the most popular Penguin Classic of them all in 70 years. Because Oprah Winfrey got behind it. So you will find this bloated and battered copies in used bookstores from here to Canberra. And that's why. And I think that's fascinating. What I wouldn't give for somebody to do that again. Some other Penguin Classic. Wouldn't that be great? Imagine if Something big and similarly difficult, like The Wizard and the Crow by Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Imagine if Penguin Classic did a Penguin Classic, a big deluxe paperback of the Wizard and the Crow, and Oprah Winfrey or someone with comparable influence recommended it as a book club. Imagine what that would be like. But anyway, that's your Penguin Classic for today. And if our second whack at Anna Karenina was your Penguin Classic for today, I'm betting you can guess what the Penguin Classic for tomorrow is. I haven't checked, but I'm guessing myself, and I bet we're both right. So I will hopefully see you then. Thank you, BookTube.